Hey guys, CLEGeek here, and today we have another video. Today's a special video because Jack is here.
Hello.
And guess what we're doing today? Tell him, Jack.
We are going to be ranking the 7 superhero films released in 2017 from worst to first, which in order of release were the Lego Batman movie, Logan, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, and Justice League. And so we are going to go through them like one by one. I'm going to give my worst, and then DeAndre will give his worst, and we'll just keep going up. If we have the same one in the same list, we'll just talk about it at the same time. So I will start with my number 7. So my number 7, and I'm assuming this is DeAndre's number 7, Justice League.
Oh, yep, Justice League.
Now before we talk about the problems we have with this movie, and trust me, there are quite a very many deal, that I'm going to talk about the things I liked. Now, I liked, once again, Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot were great as their roles as Batman and Wonder Woman, which makes it amusing looking back, like, to when they were first cast, how everyone was, like, against them being cast as these two characters, and they're, like, were the best part. Mm-hmm. Although I actually kind of liked Henry Cavill's take on Superman as, like, more diving into, like, the themes of it in the other two, I do kind of like seeing him be more of a Christopher Reeve-ish kind of Superman. It was pretty entertaining from beginning to end. I wouldn't say I was bored. The jokes are kind of hit and miss, but I laughed every now and then. I'm not going to say like they're all duds, but let's see. It was cool seeing all these characters together. We did get a good enough build-up for this, so there was a good amount of anticipation, and yeah, that's all I can think of.
Yeah, I left the movie theater pretty disappointed. I was hoping for something that would satisfy me in more ways than just, now I see everybody on screen. But there were just so many problems, which I'm sure we're going to get into. But I didn't find anyone likable, like, for the most part, until like the end when everybody was together. I'm like, okay, great. But I guess it was just the way that DC was rushing these out. We didn't get a chance to really get to know these characters. I'm sure in the future I'm all like everybody else.
Trinity.
Except for the Trinity. Even though Superman was only in it for like 10 minutes. But
yeah, and he was kind of different from how he was in the first two.
He seemed like a different character to me.
And I think, although I actually kind of thought like him dying in BVS fit for like that story arc. At that time, I still thought it was too early to do it, and how they brought him back, it made the whole thing seem incredibly pointless.
Yeah.
And nothing in this film really feels genuine to me. And first of all, I want to say, you stupid morons at Warner Brothers, you did it again. You took a film and you cut it down, so the pacing is horrible. There's tons of things that make very little sense about the movie. Now, at least for BVS, it was a 3-hour movie that they cut down to 2.5, which is pretty standard for these. So that I could somewhat understand. This, made them cut it down to 2 hours or less? You freaking idiots. You all should be fired.
The only character that I thought was consistent with how they were in all the other movies was Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And that's why she was my favorite character in the movie, surprisingly.
I think that's one of the only things the reshoots did that I think, like, because they put more of her in there since she became so popular from her own movie. They, like, added more of her. So that's one of the only things that I think these reshoots did. I want to see what Zack Snyder's version was, but I'm pretty sure that version doesn't exist.
Yeah, and if I'm being completely honest, you can agree or disagree. I thought that Batman felt, like, extremely different.
No, I wouldn't say it was extremely different. Ben Affleck still does a good job, but I just don't really, like, obviously they needed to, like, carry on his arc from Batman v Superman, so he's not going to be as bloodthirsty as he was in that movie. But at the same time, I didn't find him extremely, like, Batman-ish. Like, Batman doesn't have to be, like, serious all the time, but I kind of don't want him to just, like, be too light either. Yeah,
which is what it seemed like was going on.
And I didn't care for most of the things that seemed like Joss Whedon added to the movie, honestly. I kind of wish there was a way, like, you could watch the movie and it would, like, tell you which scenes Snyder directed and which scenes Whedon directed, so you could tell. honestly, I don't know if I can even properly judge the Whedon-Snyder mix, because I didn't get to see the proper version that, like, Whedon, like, cut together, because they made him cut it down so much. I'm not saying they should have released, like, another 3-hour version, but even, like, 15 minutes more could have helped, like, make everything feel a bit more solid. They should have made, like, at least an Aquaman movie before this, because although The Flash is pretty complicated if you watch the show,
Right.
for all you really need to know for this is he got struck by lightning, he has super speed.
Yeah, but he was my least favorite.
Yeah, he was
Well,
hit or
Cyborg
miss. He was hit or miss for me. Aquaman has like a whole society you need to set up. You can't rush that.
Yeah.
Like honestly, if they had his movie first, I think the amount of screen time they gave to like his setting up Atlantis would have been fine. But since we didn't get that, it feels incredibly rushed and stupid. Also, I don't care for the surfer dude version of Aquaman we're getting.
Yeah.
To be fair, we have his movie. If they, hopefully that'll make me like him, and then I can look back. It's like, okay, I know he gets good later. So, Flash was hit or miss for me.
I hated him. He was the worst.
Yeah, he could get annoying. Cyborg, I think I liked him more than you. I did like find some things interesting about like how him trying to get through like this, but they just don't really properly like give any conclusion to that or anything.
Right.
And I think they could maybe there was more to this that could help make it stronger that they had to cut out because once again, the president of Warner Brothers is a freaking idiot who deserves to be fired and killed.
Just to wrap up about this movie, I'm just gonna say this statement that Steppenwolf was like the worst villain I've seen in a long time.
He's not Malekith bad, but I say more Ronin level. There's like he wasn't completely blank like Malekith was. From what I hear, there's actually more interesting stuff they cut out where like he was about trying to like rebel against Darkseid and like that he was going to use the like something weird that like his mother was inside the mother boxes or something, and that's why he kept calling it Mother.
That's interesting.
I'm not sure if it was a smart choice to cut that out, or I don't know. I haven't seen the whole version, and apparently we're not getting it because they released the cover for the Blu-ray, and there's nothing about it indicating even an extended version of the Whedon-Snyder mix. For all you people like wanting the Snyder version, I do want that too, but I'm pretty sure he left way too early. Like he pretty much filmed everything and then left. So there's like pretty much, I don't think they could make, they had like an assembly cut of everything that he had filmed, but they don't have like any kind of finished product. It's not like they finished all of Snyder and then they brought Joss Whedon. Which, it's a shame that this turned out the way it did. It's not horrible, but I'm not even sure if I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, if you release an extended version, I will buy it just for curiosity's sake to see if it makes it any better. But I don't have any interest to buy this.
Alright, so number 2.
Okay,
number 6.
Now this one might be a little controversial. This is Thor Ragnarok. Once again, I didn't say this originally, so not once again, but actually, I think Justice League was the only like disappointing movie of 2017. All the other comic book movies were fantastic. This is one of the best years we've had in a while.
It's true.
So I don't want to like people to hate me because I know this is a very liked movie. It's very entertaining. Like it's Justice League times 5.
Oh yeah.
The visuals are fantastic. They finally delved into like the weird side of Thor because I understand why they wanted for a more grounded Thor in the first one because we hadn't really seen anything. But by the time the second one came out and the Avengers had already come out and they still played it pretty safe.
Which one is it?
Okay, by the time the second one came out and they were still playing it safe, it was unbelievable how lazy the second one was. So they needed to take Thor into a new direction, and this one definitely takes all the stuff we like took to accept from the previous two, chucks out the window. It's like great action, great humor, had a blast. Now to get the things why this is so low on the list, I think they focus way too much on the comedy. I don't think any of like the emotional moments really resonated as well.
The emotional moments at the end were funny. which is, I guess, going to your point.
First of all, we are able
Spoilers!
To spoiler, get out if you haven't seen this. So Asgard blows up, and they use it for Korg to give a joke, which Korg is amazing, but they should have cut that out and made, like, the destruction of Asgard, like, the major, like, setting of the Thor movies. They should have made that more dramatic. And, it's just, they were way too focused on telling jokes. Marvel is guilty of this quite often. I think this was the greatest extent because they went for a full-on comedy. But even then, you can do a full-on comedy and keep the emotional, more dramatic moments. Example, Deadpool. They have like plenty of like really good dramatic moments, and like especially in like origin segments. But they still have a ton of humor and like constant jokes and over. But I think they melded well. I don't think that really is done as well here. The moments are still there. But I just think they undermine them too many with jokes. And they're good jokes. I just think you didn't really need one there. You could have just let the moment, especially since the previous two were so dramatic, like with just some humor.
Yeah, that's a fair argument. I would agree that is something that can get a lot of people angry. But I also have to stress the point that you were saying. The rest of the list, all these movies are great.
Yeah. I like this movie. I'm not gonna try. Thor Ragnarok. I need all my movies to be serious. Personally, I don't need them all to be super happy either, which is why I actually like some more serious movies, and which I find very amusing that everyone hates on the serious DC movies after the Dark Knight trilogy ended. And then Justice League, a lot of people who saying, it's so fun and enjoyable and stuff. And honestly, if you told me you hated Man of Steel or BVS, I would defend them. I would, if you said, I hate Justice League, yep.
Yeah. I like kind of the serious tone that DC was going in. But
you people had to hate it, and the studio had to freak out. Yeah. So, thanks.
So, my second worst, but in reality, sixth best of the year. Mine is Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which, again, just like Jack said, this does not mean that I think this is a bad movie or that I hate it. I actually really like this movie. It's just, compared to all the other ones, this one is kind of on the bottom of the list. Well, second bottom of the list compared to Justice League. But I still really like it because it's fun and it's emotional, especially with Yondu and all that. And I like it, especially as a sequel, seeing all the cast back. So, what do you think?
Well, I agree with your argument, but I can't really go into anything without just already describing my feelings. Do you want to move on? Because then I could talk. Or do you want?
I'll continue the rest of what I was saying when we get to it on your list.
Oh, well, that's good because that's the next one on my list.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Great.
So this is now this still suffers a little from my problem. There's a couple scenes that I think were ruined. Not ruined per se, but just kind of could have been better if they just cut out a joke or two. When Ego tells him that he gave his mother cancer basically, and then he makes a joke. Ego makes a joke right after, and then turns into what was the guy's
Giant Pac-Man?
No, David Hasselhoff, and which is funny, but it kind of messes with that moment. And the same thing when Mantis finally gets the strength to go against Ego and make him overpower him, kind of. And then Drax, after saying "I believe in you," said, "Oh, I never believed she could do it." That ruined the moment.
Yeah, but I thought that it was. I get what you're saying, but I don't know. I just thought that with Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, they did it a lot. They had more of the dramatic moments hit a lot more than Thor Ragnarok. Those are just a couple times that they still did it in this. But overall, pretty much all the dramatic moments hit a lot better because they don't have jokes overpower it all the time like I think in Thor did. It's still just as colorful and goes into the weird side of Marvel. Mm-hmm. And it's really entertaining. It's really funny. All the jokes, for the most part, land. There's a couple duds here and there, but usually they're always good. I like to see these characters again. It's probably not as good. That's probably a lot of people complain about the Infinity Stones, but honestly, that's what kept the plot moving in the first one.
Yeah.
It felt more fast paced. This one didn't feel like they had anything pushing it forward. The villain, Kurt Russell as Ego, was probably one of the best Marvel villains.
Yeah, agreed.
It's kind of funny because Ronan was one of the worst ones in the first one.
Yeah.
He was probably the worst aspect of the first one,
yeah.
Which is pretty big statement because there's not a lot wrong with the first one. But he's honestly, Ego is incredibly interesting to me, like his point of view and stuff, and just how powerful he is. Baby Groot was not like overused. I think he was like they used him the proper amount.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have fun seeing teenage Groot in Infinity War.
Same.
I don't think some of the relationships. For instance, I'm not sure what I'm going with this actually. Michael Rooker was great as Yondu. He was.
Skipped over. Okay.
I know. I couldn't think of what to say on that one.
Okay.
Now let me. He was like pretty good as just kind of like a side like character in the first one, but I like how they kind of went more in depth with his character.
Yeah, it's my favorite part of this movie.
Yeah. Overall, there was like a great like more like focus on family here, like Peter and Yondu, Rocket and Peter, Nebula and Gamora. There's a lot of focus on family here, and I think it's pretty done. Sometimes it can get a little corny. This might have been done on purpose, like because it was supposed to be super corny. But when like Ego and Peter like playing ball.
Oh yeah.
I think that was probably supposed to be on purpose.
Yeah.
But I think it works for the most part. It's definitely not perfect. I think they could have used like something to keep the plot moving a little more, so doesn't feel like they're just all on Ego's planet for a while and Rocket does his own thing, and then finally the plot gets moving when we find out what Ego is. But overall, I had fun with this movie. I think the only thing that puts this above Thor Ragnarok is that the jokes didn't interfere as much with the emotional moments, so they were a little more able to resonate. I think if they had fixed the problem with Thor Ragnarok, I would have put that above here, because just the entertainment factor, I think, might be better with that one.
Yeah, just to finish up, I'm just going to say the only reason why Guardians was so low on my list was just because I just didn't think I enjoyed it as much as I did the first one, which was different with a lot of these, because a lot of these movies are sequels. I liked a lot of these better than the originals, but with this one, I liked the first one better. That's the only reason why this is so low on my list.
Okay, your next one?
My next one is...
We're on 5.
Wonder Woman.
Wow, that's pretty low.
I know. Surprisingly, because I really, 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 really liked Wonder Woman, but the whole way through until the end with the kind of generic fight between the good guy and the bad guy. And it was getting cool, like, when we figured out who Ares was. I was very surprised. I wasn't suspecting it at all.
I could see it coming.
I didn't, and, it seemed like it was going to be interesting, but then we kind of just went into the generic kind of CGI fight. And I was like... but while I was watching it, I didn't feel like, oh, this sucks. But after it was done, I was like, yeah, that was really good. And I was like, going through the whole movie, like, yeah, that was good. And I was like, yeah, but we just kind of did the...
A lot of people say that, like, part of the movie is, like, not very good at all. And I don't know why people are so hard on that part. Like, a lot of people say, oh, the first 2 acts are great and the third act sucks.
Yeah, I didn't think the third act sucked. It just kind of felt like Iron Man did for me, the first Iron Man. Like, all of it was, like, great, and then, like, the end it just kind of turned into, like...
Yeah, this was better. The action was more, like, at least better, more entertaining than Iron Man. Probably because CGI has come a little farther. And honestly, I thought the actor, David Thulu, I think, who played Ares, did a better, like... He was still kind of a little hammy when he became, like, big, like, evil, but Jeff Bridges went really over the top when he got in the Ironmonger suit. So I was able to take... Ares more seriously than him in that.
Yeah. But I really liked the movie. I mean, just as we said earlier, all these movies are great going forward on the list. It's just, for me, the third act just kind of brought this down.
What did you like about it? So we have that on record.
Oh, what I liked about it? I mean, just like the rest of it. I loved Gal Gadot, or Gadot, or whatever her name is.
I think.
Okay. And just the way she acts, and she's beautiful. And... I liked Chris Pine.
No, they're going to get a butt ugly woman to play Wonder Woman.
Oh, gosh. That would have been horrible. But listen, I liked Chris Pine. He was cool. He acted.
Yeah. Great observation.
I thought he was going to be kind of like a generic like love interest, but he was actually pretty cool. So
they didn't, like, go too... like feminist and make him like the
Yeah,
weak
that's
one.
what I was worried about without getting into any political anything, but I was worried that that was what was going to happen. I'm like, please don't do this. And they didn't, so I was happy.
They didn't go. I'm not gonna say anything. Actually, I don't want to get people mad at me. And again, I don't know if any of them even watch your channel, DeAndre.
No, thanks.
And I'm pretty sure no one watches my channel. So
Well, but yeah, so I liked the whole rest of the movie, like from start until like Aries, like the end of Aries. But I still
No.
could watch it. It's not like unbearable.
I think what most people mean is the stuff around Aries, because like, the ending after that is like fine.
Oh yeah.
So anything else you need to say about that one?
I like her theme music.
You can't give credit to that movie.
Oh,
Hans
that's
Zimmer
true. Never
took
mind.
itself. They
Yeah.
just took it from,
Yeah.
which I have to say we want BVS, but once I saw that, I can't wait for Wonder Woman to come out, and after a while, I kind of got past that.
Yeah.
In fact,
But, you know,
I was kind of surprised by this movie.
Yeah.
The trailers didn't do anything for me.
But what I liked about this was it was charming. It had like a charm to it. And I think what saved it compared to the other DC movies is it didn't seem to be trying to set up anything
True.
other than Wonder Woman as
Actually,
a character.
only BVS, I think, is really guilty of that. All the other movies seem to be pretty self-contained. Man of Steel, no, I think they were just testing with that one, and it was like popular enough that they. BVS is the only one that I feel is really guilty of trying to.
Well, maybe
set
not
up.
set up. Maybe just like studio tampering.
Oh yeah.
This one didn't seem like it was that.
Which is surprising. You think they would have messed with this more?
Yeah.
Especially since like Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, and Justice League have all been ridiculously messed with by the studio, and I think have been hurt in the long run. Well, BVS not too much. I think they just cut a ton out of that, which doesn't make me too mad as much, because although I like the extended version better, I look back and I think I don't think it would have been a good move to release a 3-hour movie either.
That's true.
Blade Runner 2049 was a great movie, but that proves that audiences are not really willing to go see super long movies anymore. Which is kind of weird, because movies like Lord of the Rings were all like 3 hours or more, and those were like super successful. But I guess that age has passed. You people have no patience. But anything else you want to say?
Not really.
Okay.
Next on the list?
Next on my list, which is number 4, is Spider-Man Homecoming.
Ah.
Now, I watched this just recently because I got it for Christmas. And this is one where I really think they nailed the teenage aspect of Peter Parker. And Tom Holland is probably, I'm not sure if I'm really comfortable with saying it, but as of now, I'd say he's at least really up there. He might be the best Spider-Man. I don't want to say that straight out because it's hard to say. I don't think this movie is as good as everyone is saying that. People are saying that this is pretty much one of the best movies ever. Honestly, I still think the first 2 original are better than this one, to be honest.
I would say Spider-Man 2 is definitely better than this one, but I would say this is better than the original Spider-Man, but I like the original Spider-Man better. If you know what I mean? I'm more nostalgic for the first Spider-Man.
This gets Spider-Man really right. If I had to really nitpick, I think he can get a little grating at times. Like how many times, this is so cool, this is so awesome. They could have toned that down a little, but overall,
but in real life, that's probably how it would be.
But it could. I like the whole high school aspect. I think they really nailed that. Everyone actually looked like teenagers in this one, because even in the original one, he looked like he was in his mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, he was graduating at that point, and this is he's a sophomore. Michael Keaton was fantastic as the Vulture.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the best Marvel villains we got so far, and I'm one of the people who actually can name quite a few Marvel villains I like other than just Loki, Winter Soldier. There's definitely duds like Malekith, Ronan, Ardrich Killian. Those are the duds, but generally I think most villains are at least okay, and there's a couple that I think get way too much slack that I actually like, but I'm not going to get in that there. But so, when I say Michael Keaton as the Vulture was one of the best MCU villains, that actually means something, because if you ask some people who don't like any of them other than Loki, that's not going to mean that much. Well, that means he could just be okay because you hate all of them. But see, now I actually that actually means something. Let me think. I think Iron Man was used like a good amount. He didn't feel like he was used too much.
Yeah, I was afraid this was going to be like the Iron Man, Spider-Man buddy cop film, but it wasn't.
Even though they kind of lied in the marketing, that shot
that shot never happened.
Because they need to get butts in the seat, which it's kind of weird because Spider-Man's like probably like only like below Batman and Superman and like how well known he is.
Yeah.
Like, because even before all these movies, people knew who Spider-Man was. Nobody knew who Iron Man or Captain America was.
Right.
Let me think. I would say that the action sequences, I don't remember them as well as like other ones. Like, I don't remember like a train sequence or anything like too big from that. The action is still fine though, and it like properly utilizes everything. Overall, I think this is just a great coming of age story, like how Peter grows in that moment where like he gets all the suit taken away, he's like able to like lift that pile off of him.
Yeah,
it's a great moment.
Right out of the comics.
His story arc is like probably what makes this movie so good. Overall, I don't think this is as great as everyone is bringing up because I'm subscribed to this one channel that I can't remember their name, but they analyze like certain aspects of movies, and they like 7 videos on Spider-Man: Homecoming and how great it is, and I like it. It's this high on my list, so obviously, no, I really liked it, but I just don't think it's as great as everyone's praising it to be.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. I mean, I'm gonna talk about it later, obviously, so. Stay tuned. My next one is
number 4.
The Lego Batman movie. So, I put the Lego Batman movie on here surprisingly high, even though I only saw it like twice. And I went in there, it's a funny story, I went in there like after I had seen another movie, I don't remember what it was, but I was like, I wasn't planning on seeing Lego Batman, but I was like there, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go get a ticket and see Lego Batman. So I did, and I got in there, and I was blown away about how much nostalgia and how much awesomeness and like fan service was in there. I loved every second of it, like every second of it. It was fantastic, almost perfect.
I don't want to say too much, but I honestly didn't know if I was gonna see. This is one of those movies where it's like, well, I might see it if it gets good reviews, and it got amazing reviews. So I said, I gotta go see it then,
right?
Because I liked the Lego movie. So I said, well, apparently this is really good too. So I'm gonna go see this because Batman was one of the best parts of the Lego movie. But anything else you have to point out?
Not at the moment, because I'm sure we're gonna talk about it later.
Yeah, I'm the talkish one of the two of us.
That's
Okay,
true.
So can I move on?
Yep,
Okay.
you're next.
My number 3 is the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, wow, what a coincidence.
You think, in hindsight, I wouldn't like this because it's like a very weird kind of like parody of Batman, and parodies of Batman kind of rub me the wrong way when they try to make him more pathetic looking.
That's true.
But surprisingly, although they kind of do that, it amazingly works, and for a parody that's supposed to be mostly a comedy and all that, it gives some interesting insight into like the character of Batman and how alone he feels he has to be. Yeah. And I found that like interesting in this one because really all he did in the Lego movie was, I'm Batman, I'm cool, and I make funny jokes. And this one did a more interesting insight while still giving this more like weird version of Batman. I wouldn't say I want like a live action version of this Batman. I don't want this to be the finite Batman. I like this Batman like I like the Adam West Batman, on how that's not my Batman, but he's still it's still one of the best versions of Batman. Yeah.
I thought really, say down the line we're like making a Batman movie, we should look at this and look at some of the character moments that he has and really like look at that and say, hey, we can actually use something like this, and of course not play it up as much as they did with the jokes and everything. But you can look about like his loneliness and stuff and kind of use that.
But it's super funny.
Yeah.
They get you laughing like all the time, and they still give you like these little things that only us comic book fans would get.
Yeah.
Which they didn't even have to do because little kids would have gone to see this anyway. I liked how they had like a bunch of villains in there, like how the opening sequence is him just taking down like every villain in his rogues gallery, even like the most obscure. It's overall just super entertaining. Also, I like how they give like, although it's like once again a very humorous way, but they do give like a more interesting way of like looking at his relationship with the Joker. That I found was interesting.
That could have gone in a whole bunch of ways.
Gee, it's a kids movie. They couldn't get away with that.
Well, in this day and age, they could. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and then they'd lose like a bunch of demographics of people who wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah, including me. So.
Oh, now you're gonna get all of them mad at you.
Well, get mad at me because it's true. All right. Next on my list. This was a hard one. These last three for me were extremely hard. But I have to say Spider-Man Homecoming is my number 3. You know what? Spider-Man's probably my favorite superhero. And this satisfied my every Spider-Man need in every way. And I had not been so surprised in a movie theater when the Vulture ended up being
that was like the best
his girlfriend's quote-unquote girlfriend.
I literally said out loud, "Oh crap!"
Yeah, you told me that. But yeah, when he opened the door, I was like, "What?" And the whole theater went dead silent. It was crazy.
When I went again with my mom, I was like,
it was great. And the whole time I was like, my heart was racing. I'm like, is this a trap or is this like a dream?
I never thought that. I knew
what
that.
Is this?
I don't know why. I hear like everyone think that, including you.
No, I mean I didn't know. I was just thinking like
in
my head. I'm like, is this? But
I kind of got that he was her dad like right away, and that's.
Yeah. But then as it went on, I'm like, this actually is her dad. And then it got so creepy, especially when they're in the car. They're just sitting there, and she's being all normal, and he's like, I don't like this.
Your pal Spider-Man was there.
Oh yeah, and I loved when he like figured out like, oh, you're Spider-Man. He's
a very smart villain, especially more than like all the other ones who like have met both Peter and Spider-Man and yet don't figure it out till like later.
Yeah, but he figured out like right away. It's like, oh, and that was scary. I'm like, it was great. I love that movie, and the music is amazing. Pun intended.
It took a little bit for the music, because like when I first saw it, I didn't really remember the music, but it kind of sticks out like to me more after I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah, but it's great. But so in my mind, this is my 3rd favorite Spider-Man movie, but it's the 2nd best, if you know what I mean. Like, so Spider-Man 2 is the best and my favorite, and then the original Spider-Man is my 2nd favorite, but 3rd best. Like. Because the original Spider-Man has a couple problems, but it's nostalgic to me, so that's why it's my number 2. But this is the 2nd best, critically, in my views, Spider-Man movie.
Wait, number 2. I just did my number 3. How are you?
No. I mean, ranking Spider-Man movies. Yeah.
You're getting us confused.
Yeah, but I like this movie. Bottom line.
Okay, so on number 2, my number 2 is Wonder Woman. See. I really liked this movie, and I was not, like, super excited for this until, like, and then I heard it was getting, like, amazing reviews, and there's literally no way I could not hear the reviews. Literally in the advertising, they said 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is kind of depressing when you have to use that in your marketing.
Yeah.
But so I already knew, like all my family went, even my dad, and he must have heard that like all this like huge word of mouth, because he doesn't go to the movies with us that much anymore. And honestly, it did a great job adapting this character's story. I find it's like amazing how everyone was so much against Gal Gadot's casting, and now no one can think of anyone else playing Wonder Woman but her now.
Agreed.
Yeah. Like, you could although I don't like the fact that Ben Affleck might be leaving, you can recast him, I guess. But I just hope they keep her for as long as they can.
Yeah.
Her story and her story arc is just very interesting on how she kind of learns about how the world is. One of the reasons I kind of like the 3rd act more, despite is like just entertaining. I'm not against. I still find like 2 like superpowered people beating each other like entertaining, but just like seeing her like have her like doubt in like humanity and how they're just can be naturally bad, and then when Steve sacrifices himself, like reaffirms her like belief that men can be good. and I just found like the overall arc and how she's like pretty like they do the fish out of water story like pretty well without making it like annoying. Like they don't have too many scenes where what's this?
Right.
Like they do have occasion like a couple scenes, but
I love the ice cream scene. That's so adorable.
That was actually I think that was from the New 52 Justice League.
That was in a comic?
Yeah, that was in
I saw it in a
Justice
movie.
League.
I saw it in...
Was it the adaptation?
Yeah, the adaptation of that.
Yeah, that was in Jeff Johns' like New 52 version of like the origin of Justice League.
Oh.
The World War I setting also like gives it a very good like setting. It also helps because in World War II, which was when she was originally like in the comics, which they probably did more to not be like a ripoff of Captain America more.
Sense.
But it makes like in World War II, it was more Hitler is trying to take over everything and he has access with all the others. This was more of a World War I was a more morally gray like war than just Nazis who got to beat them up. So it worked a little more with the message. I actually like Ares. I thought it was a pretty good mystery.
Yeah, the mystery was good.
The fight, the CGI kind of looks a little iffy, like in there, but I still found it entertaining, and I liked how they like, even though they're physically fighting, they're still having more like a moral battle.
I like the moral battle part of it. It's just the physical thing for me just wasn't working.
They did an amazing job with her and Steve's relationship. It felt like earned, like that these two would like fall in love. It didn't feel like it was like pushed at all, and I think like. Chris Pine, I always want to say Chris Pratt for some reason. He did a great job. He didn't overshadow Wonder Woman at all. Like, she's still the main focus, but he still contributes like good enough to this movie that you remember him afterwards. And like his sacrifice at the end is like one of like a really good way to like go off on. Overall, I just like found this an amazing like new like look, like just a new like adaptation, because we have not, for some reason, origin stories are getting like a bad like rap now, which I understand people not wanting to see Batman or Spider-Man's origin again, because we've seen that a lot, but origin stories in general, we need to see like,
I
how
like
these
origin
heroes
stories. They're
like
fun.
I think the only way we've only seen Wonder Woman's origin like TV and in the animated like straight to DVD movie that they released like of her, so like not everyone knows her origin, and it's a pretty unique origin. You can't just skip that. I think at one point Marvel said after Doctor Strange we're not going to do any more origin stories, and now Captain Marvel is going to be an origin story.
Yeah, I'm glad that they are doing origin stories, because you know I like to see the beginning of these characters.
Yeah. So this movie just blew me away. I can't wait for the sequel. It's not coming out for a little while though, so I gotta wait. It's gonna kill me. And I think this is the movie that like probably got so many people to actually go see Justice League, like because Wonder Woman's in it, okay, because no one's gonna see it after all the bad reviews for BVS. Once again, this is a number 2 for a reason. Sadly my compatriot DeAndre does not agree with me as much.
Nope. I mean, I really love this movie, and Gal Gadot's awesome, but just the third act for me, the parts of the third act, just like the Ares battle, and not the moral battle, just like the physical.
I'm not past. I still find it cool finding people like throw each other around. I found it cool in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Found it cool in Man of Steel.
That's true. I just something about it like to me just
people are just getting tired of it probably.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was, but
but I still like it.
Yeah, it didn't bother me in Guardians of the Galaxy. So
now you're number 2.
My number 2 is Thor Ragnarok.
Wow, it's like polar opposite.
I know. I really loved Thor Ragnarok. I saw it like 3-4 times or something. I loved Thor Ragnarok. I get what you're saying with the dramatic moments weren't played as dramatically as they could have been. I agree.
I just want to compare.
I agree that they weren't played as dramatic as they could have been, but with the way that this movie was going, the tone of it, I think it was consistent, which is good. And I mean, I just enjoyed it all the way through, which is why I was able to watch it so many times. And I would definitely buy this on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely buying it on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
I bought pretty much all of these on Blu-ray already. I'm gonna get Thor Ragnarok. There's just one I might not buy on Blu-ray.
Justice League.
Yeah, screw you, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but I think we talked about that movie enough. But I'm just,
But it makes me really mad. Even though it's not that bad of a movie, it just makes me mad every time I think about it for too long.
Justice League.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially if you think about it compared to the Avengers, like.
Oh, that's just gonna make me want to go punch that moronic imbecile in the face.
Well, then think of a good movie. You're number one.
Wait, don't you want to talk more about Thor Ragnarok?
Nah, we talked about it enough.
Okay. Let's just say our number one to go. We all have Logan.
Yeah, Logan was amazing.
This is like the perfect send off they could do. I don't really like it that we're not gonna get to Hugh Jackman again, and how like now that the Fox and Disney did their kind of merger now.
Yeah.
But they're gonna have to recast him because I think he like refused to come back. But this was.
But I'm okay with that because
this was a perfect send off. It's like so like sad to see like how broken like Logan's become in this. Like we've seen like him like be affected by like the events in his life, but this is like the worst we've seen him. Like pretty much everything he's held dear is like gone. All he really has is like his mentor, like Professor X left, who was in such a bad state, like his brain is like it's like some kind of debilitating like brain disease, so they have to keep him like drugged up all the time. And like all the X-Men are gone. It's just basically all the mutants are almost gone, and it's just such an interesting delve into like how much this character has gone through, and like how much like, but we still see like him have to try to like be like kind of the Wolverine of the past, even though he's like not physically or morally like wants to be there.
Yeah.
It hadn't has to be when Laura comes into like his life.
Yeah. Which I liked her too. I thought I was gonna be annoyed by like another child actor, but she was great.
She was quite half the movie, which I actually thought was she
okay.
like because she wasn't talking in any of the trailers. Oh man, she probably sucks, and they're just trying to hide it.
Yeah.
But no, she doesn't talk most of the movie. Even when she like does talk, she's like really good. She's like the actress Daphne Keane is like does a really good job, and the R rating, best Wolverine action we've ever gotten because we actually get to make it R rated. Apparently they shot The Wolverine, which I think is still like an enjoyable like movie, and it gives a good enough insight into Wolverine, but doesn't like pull it off like all the way. But that was filmed to be like R rated, but they made them cut it down to PG-13. You can see the rated version, but I can't find one that's not like for a 3D like version. And I'm not gonna buy. I don't have a 3D TV, so I'm not gonna buy a movie I can't watch.
Yeah, but I mean, Logan is it's a perfect storybook ending. And if they were to bring him back, say like this Fox Marvel thing didn't work, and they were like, you know what, and they like brought him back, even like he agreed to come back, I would probably not want to see it.
Well, technically, they wouldn't have to like bring him back, like because both him and Professor X die, which are probably like some of the most emotional moments in the movie because we've grown to know these characters through so many for so many years. It's like pretty sad. But since this takes place in 2029, you could just say, "Oh, this is before he died."
Yeah, but still, I don't know.
I think they might be bringing like I've heard that Patrick Stewart might come back like at some point, like, but even though he said that this is his last performance, I've heard kind of things that he might be like a Deadpool movie or something. But Hugh Jackman, he's done. He's like not budging on it, which I kind of respect for that, because like this is like a very artistic choice, like not to come back just for the character. Like if you like did more for like the money, if he was like did this for the money, he would like say, okay, I'm back. But this movie is just so emotionally like satisfying that you can't help. This deserves to be nominated for Best Picture, in my opinion.
I would vote for it.
Yeah, well, you're not an actor. You can't vote for it.
Look, if I were a part of the Academy, I would vote for this movie.
Yeah, and pretty much all the main cast should be like Best Picture and Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
Like Hugh Jackman should be nominated for Best Actor.
He's so good, and the thing is about him is the most recent trailer I've seen him in was for that circus movie,
which got horrible reviews.
Oh, it did. I don't even care, but but he was so like happy looking in that movie, and then you go to Logan, and he's like stabbing people and like mean all
and
the time.
He's depressed and drinking and dying. Like literally, he gets killed by like this. What do you think of the clone of Logan?
I thought that was cool. I thought I would.
It was
like,
creepy.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, they're just doing a clone thing." But then
I thought Professor X was having like a dream or something originally when he like stabbed him.
That was so
and then it turned
horrible.
And then it kept going. And the thing is like Professor X has this really heart like wrenching speech about how he knows what he did and how he killed the X-Men.
Yeah.
And then and like this we don't hear any dialogue from like the clone and we just think it's Logan the whole time. And he just stands there and then afterwards you come
yeah, it was so sad.
And he dies thinking Logan killed him, and there's even like something that indicates he thinks that that Logan killed the X-Men. Like Professor X.
Oh wow.
Patrick Stewart deserves to be nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I think he might have done. He's like definitely on par, if not even better, than Hugh Jackman in this. That might be going a bit far, but he's just so great in this. If I had to think of a flaw, the villains are kind of weak, but...
I forgot there were villains.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
They're running from nobody.
Look,
Wolverine's just super paranoid.
Well, they're just a plot device, okay?
Yeah. I found it interesting how they wiped out all the mutants just to create their own.
Yeah.
They're good, like... And I think they're, like, the... Pierce, like, the... Reaver with the robot arm.
Yeah.
He's like entertaining in his like he eats like how he's kind of over the top in his acting.
I didn't mind him. I thought it was great.
No, it wasn't like bad acting, but like he kind of like chewing the scenery a bit, kind of like the same way you like Kate Blanchett as Hela. She's like kind of going over the top, but it's like very entertaining.
Yeah.
But that's like the only real problem I can think with this movie is the villains aren't super great, but overall, I love this movie, and this is the best send-off they could give to Wolverine. The only thing is they cut out like an opening scene where we got to see the X-Men like all in their like colorful costumes and stuff. Yeah, it was only in the script phase though. They never they deleted it before it even got to like the filming stage.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And it was gonna show like how they died.
That would have been... You know, they could have did, like, kind of the Incredible Hulk thing where they kind of do it in, like, the opening credits.
Maybe they could have made it kind of look like Logan might have done it. Because, like, that's kind of what I got from that. Like, even in a deleted scene where they talk about Jean Grey, Professor X said that Logan killed her. Which we know... I'm pretty sure that wouldn't make sense because this isn't the timeline where he killed her.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that Professor X assumes he killed all the X-Men, even though he killed all the X-Men.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie, perfect send-off, as you said. And
I don't know where I don't think the X-Men franchise is gonna last very much longer before it gets another reboot for not another one. It has never been which is kind of weird because it's been the longest running like comic book franchise.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't like the MCU may have more movies, but it's only been going for like 10 years, which seems like a long time. But the X-Men have been going since 2000.
Yeah, and honestly though, as you know, and you disagree with me, but I didn't like X-Men Apocalypse that much.
Which I still find it stupid. You think it should get rebooted because of one movie you did not like.
No, what I was going to say was this. Now that we're talking about Logan, we can use Logan as a send-off to the entire Fox X-Men franchise.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
Well, if they didn't have X-Men Dark Phoenix, if they just canceled it...
That's too far into production. They're not going to cancel.
Look, they could save so much money.
But they've already filmed it all.
Well, just get rid of it.
No, I want us. That could be the send-off for the X-Men.
Hey, maybe this can be one of the few times where reshoots might be great. If you have like a way to send them off, maybe not kill them or anything, but just like a...
Well, that would just be changing the ending. Well, that wouldn't work because of the Days of Future Past. Like, the ending showed a lot of them survived the end.
No, that's true. No, well, I didn't say they need to die. It's just have some type of ending. Mm-hmm. Some type of nice ending. Like, even if they all live happily ever after or something.
No, we know Professor X killed them all.
Makes it seem that way.
Like, they lived happily ever after till 2023. Then Professor X had a seizure and killed them all. You
know what could happen in the credits of that movie? Like, they could show, like, you know how Iron Man 3 has, like, a little, like, a... Montage from the beginning to the end?
Even though it's mostly Iron Man 3 scenes.
Yeah, but it's still in there. And Spider-Man 3 does that in the beginning credits. has the
Not just to catch people up.
yeah, but what they could do is in the last X-Men movie before Marvel Studios takes
Which
over.
that might still fall through. The government has to approve it.
Yeah, well,
And that doesn't happen for like another year.
yeah, but what they could do is this. They could have like a little montage thing at the end of the credits showing like from the first X-Men movie all the way to like an end with like Logan or something. And boom. End of the movie. Bye-bye, Fox. Boom.
It's just that I've had so much attachment, and I found X-Men Apocalypse entertaining, but it was from Days of Future Past to that it was a drop. So I hope they go
huge drop off a cliff.
Shut up, DeAndre. I'll kill you.
Okay.
But so I hope they like go. I want them to go on off a high note. They don't have to be as good as Days of Future Past. That's a very high bar. I just want like a solid, like good, not just like an okay one, like a good
really
send off.
Yeah. The only thing is though, like it can be really good, but I just feel like the reason why Days of Future Past for a lot of people was so great was because we got to see the original cast again.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be able to do that with this.
Well, people like
most likely.
People seem to like the cast from First Class.
Well, yeah, I like the cast, but I just think that the reason why Days of Future Past was so great was the cast.
This is our movie ranking this year, so maybe if we want it, we can make a video about like next year's movies after this. But we should wrap this up.
Okay, well, that's our list, and that's it.
If you didn't like it, you can go die.
Yep. Okay. So later.